Hello, welcome back to the Matt Greer Music Channel. This is video part 2 on my series of making old school UK jungle on the PO-33 K.O. Part 1 we talked about choosing the proper samples and getting them ready. Part 2 we're going to talk about how we get those samples onto this device and making best use of them when they're here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so just as a reminder, this is the Koala Sampler app. We are not using this app to make music with. You certainly could. It's a great app. If you're into samplers, I highly recommend it. But I'm just using this as a convenient way to keep all the samples that I plan on using in one spot, rather than having you watch me dig through websites, and it would take an hour to watch me find things to sample. So we're just using this as a place to keep them, really. All right, so with most tracks, I start by sampling into the drums. So we're going to choose a drum slot. We hit sound, hit one of the drum slots. Now, this device only has about 40 seconds of sample time, and one of the major challenges is trying to get a comprehensive sound set onto this without running over, especially when you have longer things like risers and longer sounds, which I think are very key to making music on it, but it can be hard to fit them in. So the reason I'm saying that, we're going to sample this drum loop. All right, and that's about a 1-bar drum loop, but I don't need the entire bar to have the major sounds of that drum loop in this device. So I'm only going to sample like half of that bar. Like the whole thing is, but I'm only going to get like, that'll be enough, because we're going to chop that up and it'll become like a kit. So again, look for ways to save yourself space while you start sampling. Another thing I'll say before we get started here, use the record button to tell you how loud your level is. So take a look here. I recommend getting your samples into this device as hot as you can get them. If they're below optimal threshold, there's going to be some noise introduced. Some noise is going to be inevitable, but that will help. So let me turn this up just a little bit and you'll see what happens when it's too loud. Again, if you just hold record without touching the slot, you can see the meter without it actually recording any audio. So you could see it showed a clip at the top of that CLP. That means it's clipping. And let me tell you, when this thing clips, it introduces some nasty digital distortion. Okay, so let's capture a little bit of beat here. That's all I want. That's literally all I'm doing right now. So we've got, go into this slot. So it's already chopped it up. We might go through and kind of need to fine tune some of these chops, but for now that's fine. We're just quickly getting samples into the device. So I'm going to go to slot 2. We're going to do the same thing with my next Amen. Again, that's enough. That one's going to need a little more fixing, I can already tell. Some things have sharper transients than others. This device is pretty good at auto chopping, but it's not going to auto chop well on drones or really highly melodic things. It needs like sharp transients in the wave sound to really identify those, but it's pretty easy to fine tune the chops afterwards, so that's what's nice. All right, still moving on. We're going to record the other drums. Okay. And this one. And that's it. I'm not even going to mess with those right now. I'm just dumping samples into this device. From there, I'm going to go straight to the basses. So we're going to go to sound. One thing I'll say is I try to organize my sounds in a logical way. So I try to keep basses on the top row, melodic things down here. Now you might already be noticing that we've got a lot of sounds here, and it might become hard to figure out where all these go. Some things are melodic that we might put on drum tracks, and we'll go over that in a little bit. So first off, let's just go to sound 1 here, one of the melodic sounds, and let's get this little bass. Already, you're halfway to jungle right there, just doing that. Okay, let's move to this one. All right, do this one next. 4 drums, 3 basses. We've got the basics of this track done already. Now, I try to put melodics on this second row down here. All right. So now we've got voices. I tend to always put my voice type of things on the drums because when you chop them up, it's a lot of fun. Okay.
Back up for the bass line, you know.
So let me show you an example on that. You got.
Back up to the bass line, you know.
And I'm not gonna do the whole thing because I only need about half of it. And let's see, I've got about 8 seconds left. So see, you run out of sample time quick, but that should be enough for this riser. There you go, we've got 3 seconds of sample time left. Okay, let's start talking about this thing. So let's go back to our drums. Let's go to the first one here. And now I'm just gonna audition each chop. That's pretty good, that's clean. That one is not so clean. It's got a click at the end. So you see I put it, if I hit the FX button, I go to trim. Now you can start using these knobs. There, I took that little click out of the end. Trim that one a little bit. That's pretty good. Not bad. Okay. That's so short already, trimming won't. Ah, got it. Okay. Alright, so that's pretty good chops on that. And now I would just go through to each of the other drums. Okay, I'm satisfied that I trimmed my drums well enough here. Now let's move on to some of these vocal sounds. So this one, I'm actually not going to trim this at all because it's just one word basically. So I'm just going to use the first slot. And again, it's chopped this across all these, but I'm just going to use that first slot and lengthen it all the way. So basically it's now acting like one of these melodic spots, but it's in the drum section. So that's a way to save yourself some space. If you know you don't need drums on this one, go ahead and put normal samples onto it. And then this one,
For the bass line, you know.
I'm just going to leave that alone for now. Fun. Okay, I think I'm settled on having trimmed all these for now. Some needed it, some not so much. Not much I'm going to do on that one, although I can already tell it's quieter. Alright, now you hear that noise on it? I don't like that, so I'm going to use the filter to take that out. All the way up. Got that white noise. You can tame that a bit with the filter. I want this one louder too. That one's actually fun. I'm not going to mess with it. That one's got a little noise. Some volume. Okay. Melodic sounds. Yep, definitely too quiet. Little noise on it. Seems good. Okay, so basically I've loaded all my kit onto this device. I've made sure that I got everything I wanted to on this thing without running out of sample time. I've gone through and I've trimmed some of my chops, and I've kind of gotten things ready to start arranging a song. Now, video 3 is going to be us making that song from start to end, so you'll be a part of the whole writing process. But for now, let's go ahead and throw a little beat together and see where we're at. This might start to generate some ideas. I'll then go in and I'll start adding varying stuff so that it's not the same exact every time. So let's bounce between these two patterns. 4 bars. Again, this has been an overview of some recommendations I have for putting your drums into the sampler, tweaking them, chopping them, getting some volume levels right, starting to think about how to make that kit work on this device, save yourself some space where you can, get all the sounds you want without running out of sample time. And those are the good things that I can recommend right now. If you've been following along, maybe go out and find yourself some samples, get them loaded up on here, and then we can go through the writing process together, and you might be inspired to create your own masterpiece. I don't know if mine's going to be a masterpiece yet, but we will try. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed what we have so far, and stay tuned for number 3.